Hi everyone, and welcome back to LipiSource. I'm excited to share with you some updates in the newest version, the most important of which is support for PDF files. And then we'll also talk about your personal library as well. So I invite you to look at the last video, which showed you the basics of inputting text and uploading a screenshot and dropping that in and sort of converting the different files that way. So what I want to show you in this new video is the latest update that includes settings for PDFs, also a wide range of new languages, including East Asian, Central Asian, Middle Eastern, and African languages. You even have Greek in there. This is pretty interesting, and I hope to add much more functionality as well in coming months. So you have this language here. Currently the upload PDF function is online, so you can click it here, and any language will be supported. And again, if you see any bugs, reach out to me. I'm also correcting as I go along, testing every single one. But here with Bangla, you can see that you have two options. You have a little green searchable PDF notation there. And so I want to show you the two ways in which this works. So if I pull up a PDF from my library, let's do a preface to a Bangla edition of Sri Sabapati Swami's works, published out of Kolkata. So what I can do here is I upload it. I have two options. I can do the text for direct input in LipiSource, or I can do download searchable PDF. So let's do the text for direct input in LipiSource first. So what I have it here, and this works well for between 10 to 30 pages, give or take. It'll work even for longer PDFs too, but you might be waiting a while for it. And again, with the tokens, this is much compute-wise cheaper. And so you actually get 10 pages free just for uploading it that way, and so it should work that way for you pretty well. And you have some advanced layout settings with this method too. You get 2 pages per scan. Like let's say the book is scanned as a spread. Then what you can do is separate those 2 pages. You can auto detect column, or it's always better to note how many columns are in the PDF. You can choose to collect footnotes. Let's say it's like a scholarly article and you want the footnotes to be at the end so it doesn't disrupt the transliteration. You can do that. Include headers, also include page numbers, like above the PDF, and markers, and so on. So once you have your settings all sort of set and ready to go, then you click Process Document here. And you'll see that it's processing with LipiSource AI or OCR. And that really is true because it's not just processing, sending to an AI model and then spitting it back. It's actually using dictionary sources and using other kinds of contextual sources that I've put in the back end, and then sending that to the AI model and giving it a kind of structure, what's called scaffolding, that then enables the text to even be more accurately translated, and also enables the looking up of words and so on. So what we have here is this text again, and I think in the last video this wasn't up yet, but you can do align the text as well. You can increase the line spacing if it's difficult to read. You can also change the font if you like to read it in kind of a different font that makes it easier for you on your eyes, and so on. And what you can do then, once you have this document here, you click Transliterate, just like before. And that will take you down here to the transliterated output. And again, it's also optimized for mobile. So if you're working in your mobile, you can just upload a PDF from your mobile, smartphone, Android, iPhone, what have you. And then this text will come out. I don't know why it's coming out in Devanagari. That must be because of the previous settings, but if you want to read Bangla in Devanagari script, be my guest. What you want to do is probably have it transliterated into Roman script, ISO, but again, it's wherever you feel comfortable, right? So here you have the introduction, or I guess it was a preface translated there. The title page was like a little bit strange, but if you go down here, you get kind of full text, and sometimes it will pick up stamps from the PDF, or it will pick up other kind of artifacts, and that's just sort of natural because it's really picking up the whole text. But what becomes interesting here is that you can scroll down, and here you have an instant translation of that PDF just right at your fingertips. And you can see here, okay, so one of the artifacts it picked up was a stamp from the reading library, right? And so it picks that up. But here you have this this translation here, and instead of annotated translation, it was causing too many issues. You have basically a single translation function here, and you can regenerate it if you don't like that translation. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can download it as a PDF. What you can do here is also click cross references and context, and this will give you actually, if you scroll down to the bottom here, once it generates, it will give you a sort of contextual description, and I'm updating these to make them more accurate. Currently they can be kind of verbose and vague, and so what I'm trying to do is sort of plug into the database scholarly sources on the back end that will help clarify these and make this source better as well, so it's not just relying on whatever the AI model kind of produces in its head. And so again too, you can flag the error if you point out a mistake. That will send it to me, and then I can actually sort of look at it and correct it. And if you don't even want to deal with the translation, you can just turn it off. So that was the one way, the LipiSource PDF method. So if I click delete here, and then I would also click refresh just so it clears everything and resets it back. What about the other way? And this is a way that I think will be useful to many of you all. It's definitely useful to me because previously there was no consistent way to read or create searchable Bangla text. There were some algorithms, I think Tesseract or some other programs had sort of, some machine reading potential, but it was not to this level. And so this is really kind of long overdue, and I think a very important sort of intervention, and I really want to add this to other languages so that OCR is not just limited to Latin script and so on. So let's say I select a longer text. Let's do the same text, but I'm going to do an introduction instead of the preface. Okay, so this is coming up as 32 pages, fairly long. I click here, you can see it's more tokens, right? So, it costs about actually, a few dollars more or less to really read this whole PDF and send it back, because what happens with the OCR is that it sends it through Python script to Google Cloud, and then it runs that script, and then it sort of reads it, and then it also is using a complex Python sort of package known as Aksharamukha, which is open source. It's a great website for scripts in general, and I'm really happy that the creator of Aksharamukha enabled the Python script, which really makes this possible. So thank you for doing that. And what you can do here is then that text will then be sent back to the front end, where you can then view it. And if you want, what I've added as well, you can include the raw Bengali text, so similar to what you did the output in the LipiSource, the input. And you can also include the transliteration as a text file as well that you can compare alongside the searchable PDF with its pages. And so let's see how that works for a second, and then I'll show you how you can also view what you've produced in your own personal library, which I think I'm going to rename personal collection, because my goal here is to create a collection, also a library of e-texts that are sort of open source, that people can view and transliterate and also consult in this environment, because with this environment you're able to look up words, you're able to find translations, and so it actually is a very compelling way of looking at texts and processing information that way. So here we click Process Document. You'll see that it is uploaded. It's starting the processing. Give it a little bit of time here. You'll see I added a little timer here. That's usually an estimate based on how much sort of compute power. On the back end, there are multiple processors that are running this. There's sort of memory that is sort of bumped up, boosted just to read these texts. And so it's great that this service exists kind of behind the scenes. Thank you, Google, for that. And let's just give it a chance to process, and then I'll show you how it works. You could, grab a nice cup of coffee or something, Okay, boom. The amount of time it took to take that sip of coffee, that's basically about, how long it took to process this introduction. So obviously longer, huge PDFs. It supports up to 500 megabytes of a PDF file. So what you can do here then now is you can download the searchable PDF, which will download it to either your desktop or your mobile, depending on what kind of device you're using. And you can see here that the text is searchable. You can see that by all these small blue lines here. Now, I'm still working on making these lines cover the entire highlighted portion of the word. So like, for instance, in this case, you can see that it's mondoli, but when you highlight it, the word mondoli is only coming up here. That's just because of how the PDF is reading each word and reading the script. But nevertheless, it is completely searchable. So just to prove it to you, what you can do is you can do Control F and then type in Bangla here. And so you're going to want to do mondoli, which is coming up here. Boom, 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 boom. It's showing up right here. So then you can search for it throughout your whole entire text. And it will show up the little blue bar above every instance of that word. Okay? And it's actually pretty accurate. You're probably going to find here and there, it happens in English OCR too as well. You're going to find some issues now and again with it picking up words, but I have been really surprised at how accurate this is. I mean, you can search, that's Shobapoti, Sabapati's name in Bangla pronunciation. And so Shobapoti Shami is right there, and I can find out there's only one instance of his name in this introduction, but that's still pretty cool. And let's look up jog, the word for yoga here. How many times? 11 times. So you even get a sense of how many times the word occurs in a given text. Raj jog, Raja yoga, A jog, She jog. And so here you go, Jogi Gonke, the yogis. So here you go. And again, though, this is just one kind of exciting part, because if you go back to LipiSource, the app, then what you can see here is there's also a View in Library button. And this is really where I'm expanding, and I think it will be a great asset to many people, both sort of who study these languages, but also people who are just sort of interested in Bangla or interested in any of the Asian languages. And so what you can do here is look. Now you can see I already have some that are available. The latest one will pop up here, and what you can do here is either view it in the reader or download it like we just did. So you don't need to download it again because we already saw that, but what happens if you click view in reader? Well, let's find out. View in reader. Here it opens up the native LipiSource PDF viewer, and I haven't quite got the lookup function sort of plugged in to the PDF, but that's coming. Probably, by the time you watch this video, you'll already be able to click on these words and, oh wait, look at there. So you can. It's just because the boxes are small. I didn't even realize that it had gotten to work. So, you can click on the little boxes that are above the word, and then it will look up the words right there according to the same logic that's used on the sort of LipiSource page. And I'll make these sort of more intuitive as well, and clear up the dictionary links so they're easier to see. But that's great. Wow, it must be good luck that I'm presenting this video to you and it's just already working. So problem solved. Manob, okay, the word for human being. And then again, let's say you want to look up this word in a more established dictionary, Shongshad Bangla English. There you go. Manob, all of the definitions. You can even view the pages and so on those dictionaries. So let's go back to our LipiSource. This was our viewer, okay? You can also search for words within the viewer itself. So let's say I want to look for Shobapoti. Here it shows up here again. Let's say I want to look up jog. Here it shows up in the viewer again, and it even will give me a little toast that says found on 16 pages. All right, and then with this I can also zoom in, zoom out, and on the mobile I've added a way, or at least if it's not working yet, it will soon, where you can drag the PDF, pinch and zoom and so on like that. So what else? So here, in addition to the PDF viewer, remember those two text files that were sent along with the PDF? Well, what you can do there is actually view them in LipiSource in your library as well. And so what you can do here is click View in Reader if you don't want to download them as a text file. And here is the sort of transliterated version that you can copy and paste. You can click Copy All, and then move that over to the main app. You can also zoom in, you can zoom out, you can change the font if you don't want to sort of rely on this particular font. I will fix that very soon. And then what you can do is also view the Bangla text here as a text file and read it that way if it's easier on the eyes, if you don't really like the PDF version of it. And I'll add the lookup words function to this as well. And what you can do here, what's really great is, let's say you see a passage here and you're like, oh man, I really kind of want to know what this whole passage means. Then you just, select it. If you're on a desktop or MacBook or what have you, you just copy it, right click and click copy. And then you click X, go back to home, and then you just can paste this right here. If you're on the mobile, you just kind of hold it down until you get the copy button to show up, and here you go. That's the text that was in your text file, and it's going to be much easier to select the text that way than in the PDF. And so then you can click transliterate. Let's see how long that will take. There you go. Boom. You have your PDF transliteration of the first part of the introduction. And then you have a transliteration here. Translation. And you can download this. You can also, again, click cross-references. And if you want more information about this, that will be updated very soon as well. And then it will generate these cross-references for you using the power of AI, what the model already is trained on, as well as resources that I've been uploading and will continue to upload. And so let's say you read this is great, you want another passage, just go back to your personal library. Go here, it will show up again. You can view the text in the reader, the transliteration or the Bangla text, and it's right there for you. And I hope to add a lot more functionality to these sort of e-texts, and even, as I said, create a public e-text library, and add the functionality where you can submit, if your works are out of copyright or open source or what have you. They're sort of texts that might be classical or medieval even, or earlier 19th century, that we can have those as a resource for people to look at, so they don't have to go back in and constantly retransliterate and find those texts that way. And you can see that you have your storage here as well. Currently you have 1 gigabyte of storage. I might have to modify that if all of a sudden a lot of people sign up, but for now, your storage is tracked there, so you can upload the texts and they'll kind of stay there until you need them again to view them or transliterate or what have you. So that is sort of where we're at right now with LipiSource. And again, still developing the voice. The camera is already working. If you use your phone, you can take a picture, a snapshot, and many more features are on the way. And again, if you see any bug or you want to see any specific feature, you can just leave a comment to the video on whatever platform it is, or you can also send me an email at keith@lipisource.com. And I really value your feedback, what you get out of this app, or what you want to see, how you really use it, how you would like to use it, what features you're really interested in, since we are in a whole new world of being able to create apps fairly easily. And so I'm actually really impressed with how we can expand the functionality and make this accessible to all people in a really compelling and fun, even colorful way. So thanks again for checking out this video, and I will check in with you all at the next update with the latest features. Take care.